I want to take y'all through pretty much my creative journey. So I'm currently, um, I've kind of switched gears when it has come to like fashion and style. For like the last 2 years, I feel like I've pretty much have redeveloped my style. I feel like I would like truly have a sense of style of my own and not just what's trending. I pretty much have, when I say switch gears, I feel like I have gone from being like this trendy person to being a trendy person and following the, worldly ways of life and the way of living and stuff like that. I have pretty much have found a connection with timeless pieces. I am someone that is very creative and I tend to find a lot of inspiration. And one thing I know for sure is like there are certain things about myself that has always stuck with me no matter what. And that has led me to be where I am now when it comes to what I want to do with my clothing brand. I want to provide timeless pieces that have been big back in the day that didn't get their flowers that they deserve. People who have been such a big influence in today's, creative culture, like being who we are. I just feel like as creatives, we are losing sense of self. We're also losing the fact that we don't value true creativity anymore. And as I read, I'm learning so much about not just about fashion, but the people who wore it. And Princess Diana, Princess of Wales, has really been my has really been my inspiration. I would say since 2023, so the last 2 years. I started reading the Lady Di lookbook by Eloise Mogan. I think I'm pronouncing that right correctly, or Moran. Eloise Moran. And I have truly I really learned from that book on how to be very more intentional about what I wear, and to pay closely attention to how I feel when I wear certain pieces, how I look when I wear certain pieces, what message, what am I trying to say with what I'm wearing. And that's a lot for me because in this big old world, I just feel like I'm not a talker. In this big world, I keep very quiet about the way I think, and I dim my light, needless to say. So, art, fashion, anything creative, anything that I can create with my hands, anything that I can draw, writing has always been my outlet. Dance, like music, every art form, I feel like I have had some kind of connection with. So I just want to highlight my inspiration behind Diana and the designers and the people involved in that process, because a lot of people don't know, a lot of famous designers today have grown bigger than what they are today because of Princess Diana. A lot of, and I feel like we lose a lot of that history. As these years go by, we're losing a lot of that history. So I just want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that. I want to be the one to be involved with the evolution, but not just the evolution of fashion and, inspiration and creativity, but the history of it, where a lot of these trends and a lot of these styles and things are coming from. They're coming from a place of history, and And that goes back to like history repeating itself. Like we are all living lives that someone has once lived, but it's different, you know? So I feel like I'm just saying a lot, but yeah, so with my clothing brand, like I said, I'm relaunching, and I wanted to use my YouTube channel to share that journey and to not just share it, but capture it in the way that I see it, you know, and from my perspective, like the creative, the way that I think, you know, how I want people to see me if I was to show anybody who I truly am. So my first piece that I'm working on for my relaunch is a scarf. I got into the scarf because of Princess Diana. Like I said, I started reading the book back in 2023 during a time when I thought I wanted to be a stylist. And I just really got influenced by the book. I got influenced by learning more about Princess Diana, and you know, the things that she was going through, and how she used fashion and art, and how she was rebellious and had wit. She had this aura about her, and a lot of that I see in myself. So I pretty much just wanted to pay homage to her, and you know, relating to her so much in a lot of ways, and just keeping that history going, keeping her legacy going, because to me she was that girl. I honestly never had too many heroes, like in a fictional sense. You know the guys are like, Batman is their hero, or Black Panther, or whatever. So I never had, not even just a character, but I never had a person that was like my hero. I would say Tupac. But Princess Diana has definitely become one of my first female heroes that I feel like is like that I can relate to on like every level. So this piece is called I don't even want to talk about it, but the piece is called Daring Diana, and it's focusing and highlighting on when she first wore the I'm a luxury jumper. That it was a famous phrase that was created by Giles, I forgot his last name, and a designer actually made it, George, and they actually have a website called Giles and George that sells these sweaters. But yeah, it became such a big and hot thing during this time when Princess Diana was like, up and coming, and as she was going through marriage problems and dealing with the royal family and stuff like that, she was starting to become, a rebel and really show and be who she really was, and not who the royal court and the royal family wanted her to be. So she was daring. She was pushing the line. I related a lot to that from being in the military and pushing the line, walking and just, finding my way through the gray area, and things like that. So she wore this jumper, and it just went big, and it became such a hot thing. And while it was becoming such a hot thing, there was a true meaning behind it. And although Princess Diana didn't too much care to talk about it at that time, she wore it to say it, instead of having to come out and talk about it to the blogs, talk about it to the press, or to talk about it to the family, because, they wouldn't let her, she had to walk the final line. So she wore things to say how she truly felt. She wore things to say things that she, wasn't able to say out loud. And that's what I want to make my pieces like. I want to make timeless pieces that can be very meaningful to people, and something that gets passed down. And the reason why I chose to go with the scarf was because I have grown to really love things that belong to my family, like my grandmother. I have a lot of jewelry, and my mom just gave me one of her cameras from like the 30s, and I just love the idea of having something that belonged to my grandparents or my great grandparents. And I think, yeah, right after the ring, before I left for boot camp, my mom gave me my grandmother's hair scarf, and it's something that I've been having for years. And to know that it was my grandmother's who passed away before I was born, I never met her. So to have something from her that's so old, and I'm gonna be 29 in a month, so to have that, to know that this is something that has been in existence longer than I've been alive, I feel like that is mind-blowing to me. So it's something that is very valuable to me. It's something that has a lot of meaning. It's something that I really, truly care about a lot. And once I got into Princess Diana, being inspired to wear the scarf more, because I was just using it to sleep with. But I was really inspired and motivated to actually wear it, incorporate it into my style, into my outfits. And I actually used it for a photo shoot like a couple months ago that I did with a photographer of ours, and I was shocked at how well the pictures came out. And even though it's a hair scarf, I still wore it with true intention. I wore it in an unusual way, and that was the whole point. It was meant to be creative. It was meant to be different, and to wear it, to make it versatile, because it's so timeless. Like, I don't want to just use it just for one thing. And knowing that there are so many different ways you can wear a scarf, yeah, that has what led me to the relaunch of my clothing brand. Also, going back to, I don't want it to just be clothes. I don't want it to just be matching sets and shirts and stuff like that. Because what I realized is that going that route, I'm just creating the trendy looking things, and it's not lasting. And I realized that for myself, and like, I'm thinking that, then other people are more than likely, because, and I say that not in a bad way, not that what I created in the past was low quality or bad or anything. It was pretty great quality, but it was that I had my style and my fashion senses, and what as I'm evolving, my style and stuff is changing as well. But which is not bad, because we're supposed to evolve. But I want to create timeless pieces that I do not want to get rid of, pieces that grows old with me that I can pass down. That's what I want. I want something that, as I'm evolving, it's becoming who I am as far as my style. And although I'm making it for my own creative reasons, I want people to take this scarf and do whatever they want with it. If they want to make it into a shirt, thank you. If you want to turn it into a handkerchief, thank you. If you want to turn it into a tie, thank you. If you want to turn it into a silk, scarf, thank you. If you want to make it something that you wear at nighttime, thank you. I want you to use it in the way that you see fit, that it becomes something because of how meaningful it is, the creativity behind it, the thought process, the effort, the details into what it looks like. I want it to be something that relates to you and who you are. And to know that it's coming from a place of true inspiration, coming from a place of true creativity, true art. And I just feel like we're missing a lot of that in the creative world. And it's really like for people who can really get in their bag and really put some creativity into the art. the design, into the look, into like who's really gonna make a staple in that lane. But me, who am I? I'm in my own lane. I'm trying to be a staple in my own lane for each version of myself. So it definitely makes my inner child really happy and excited, and I just feel like me. At once upon a time, I wanted to be a fashion designer when I was young, and drawing all sketches and being inspired by my family, because I was sketching designs and creating looks that complemented my family's bodies. And because I was, more smaller, everyone else had hips and butts and sides and stuff. So, just really trying to create stuff that not only is just for me and about me, but for other people too. People that can relate, people that want to feel included, to know that they're not alone. Because being authentic is rare. It is hard to come by. So my true creativity is I feel like I'm digging real deep right now. For those who's watching, I hope y'all get it. But this is all really meant for you all to really truly understand me on a whole nother level, on a level I've never shown. And I just hope y'all enjoying it so far. And, you kind of see things a little different from my point of view. I don't know, but yeah.